Okay, how about now? Sorry about that, guys. All right, so we'll try that again. Greetings, my friends. Happy Friday. We've got Famine 52, Outlaw Immortal, LOA Blue, Master Panda, Maurice, Ebola, Henry, Noctis. Lost my place here. Wolfie Z, or Wolfies, Lex, Cindy. I think I said Maurice already. Ebola, Samantha, Obsidian Flame, Alex, Van Treese. That sounds. I think that's a new name. Nino Brown, Brian's World, Arrow BZ. Greetings, my friends. Thanks for joining me. I know it was a little bit short notice as usual, but you're pretty much all aware of that right now. You'll have to excuse my my microphone. Sometimes when I switch the plugs around, it forgets where the microphone is and doesn't like to pull the audio until I remind it. Lindsay Ryan. Hello there, Marina. All right. Yeah, Van Tree Stewart. Welcome, my friend. You are new. I noticed that. Zen 2011. Hello. Denise Larkin. Hi from GB. Where would that be? Arrow BZ 1988. Awesome mug. Thank you. Actually, I have two now. This is my new mug. Um, just got it in the mail. The Wolf Watcher design. Love it. So I got two just in case anyone hasn't seen this one. Henry, I've been good. I've been good. Thanks for asking. So what's new? Working on some new ideas. Thinking about starting a podcast. Evolving this channel a little bit as well. We'll see how it goes, though. You never know. You never know what the next day is going to bring. And my amount of time that I can spend on this channel has been dwindling as of late. So I'm just doing what I can. What am I drinking? I'm drinking the best drink, which is water. Okay, Denise, you're in Blackpool, Great Britain. Got it. Sleepy time. Hello there, my friend. Arabizi, you saw the new mug on Instagram. That's right. All right. So, guys, I had this idea the other day. Since I've been very busy this week, and I haven't had a chance to write anything or really even check my emails. And yeah, Alex, got to stay hydrated because especially when you're talking for a long period of time, got to stay hydrated. Didn't have a chance to write anything this weekend, so I figured, you know what? I've got a lot of things, a lot of old stories sitting around in my archives that I'm sure some of you probably haven't heard before. And a lot of these stories, even if you have heard them before, you probably never heard them live, and it might be interesting to see that, especially some of the older ones that I haven't read in a while or were from an era before the time where I actually would give my thoughts at the end of the video, things like that. Low Lightning, hello there, my friend. Arabiza, you said you just had some chocolate milk. Yeah, water is the way to go. I've actually surprisingly been able to wean myself off of drinking milk altogether. I feel a lot better since doing that. Not sure. I don't know what the science is behind that, but it works. So, as we move on tonight, this is going to be kind of a shorter live stream because I might be doing a little bit of. Got to get back onto Resident Evil 2, but I'm probably going to do that on Twitch after this is done. So I'll probably be here hanging out for about an hour with you guys, and I want to get through at least 2 or 3 stories minimum, because I know normally when I do these live streams, I get to about 1 or maybe 2 stories and no more. And I want to give you guys a little bit more stuff to listen to story-wise and things to talk about. So let's see here. I assume that's Ghost Uchiha. Okay. Is that what that is? Or maybe I'm just too much of an anime nerd to unsee your weird spelling of your name there. Quasar Jenkins. Yeah. All right, Nino. Have a good night, my friend. Thanks for stopping by. And thanks for the comments and the appreciation for all you guys. If you don't mind, go ahead and leave a thumbs up on the video just so that we can get some visibility going on this video, because my live streams, for some reason, they don't like to show up on people's feeds, and they just kind of sit at these low views. You're going to have to be more specific there, my friend. There's a lot of people with Wolf in their names. Legendary Lurch Logan. Hello there, my friend. I'm glad you made it. Nanatsu no Taizai. Hello there. You must be new to these streams. I always come online on camera. Damon Hank. That's a new name. Have I played Jump Force yet? It's not really my kind of game. Oh, I see. Sio Wolf. Hello there, my friend. All right. So what I want to do for you guys today is talk about some of these old stories that I have, and I'd like you guys to choose what stories or what types of stories you want to hear tonight. We'll do at least 3 tonight, and we'll see what happens from there. Each one I'll read. You guys pick out a type of story. You can start typing that into the chat if you want. And if you want to hear a story about a dogman or about a zombie in Haiti, or let me see. I've gotten the military base cryptid encounter that I have not read in quite a long time. Let me see here. I got a lot of stories in this backlog, but over 100 of them. Got a story about a vampire. Yeah, Bigfoot. Couple of cool things in here. Even some shadow people, black-eyed children, that type of thing. Well, we just did black-eyed children recently, so we'll see. I got a couple of stalker stories. Plenty of supernatural stuff. Werewolf, let's see here. I saw a new name. Jay Price, what's up, my friend? Let's see. Okay, I'm seeing Bigfoot, military, cryptid, creepy hospital stay. I don't think I have one of those. Abby, say what? Greetings. All right, I got 2 for the military base. Ray Ayanami, greetings, my friend. Okay, stalker stories. Thank you, Gina. Much appreciated for tweeting out the live stream. If you guys want to share a link or something to my live stream to get a few more people in here, that'd be much appreciated, of course. Okay, let's see. I got military base cryptid. That's definitely going down. All right, so let me copy that over. Got a couple votes for Dogman, Skinwalker. Those are a little bit more recent. Bunch of Skinwalkers, bunch of military bases. Hope Lee, my goodness, my old friend, greetings. Glad to see you. I hope you've been well. Hope Lee provided me with one of my earliest earliest stories. I'm looking at it right now. It's about a ghost cat. All right. Let's see. Maybe I can look through your votes and get at least one more good. See, I'm seeing Dogman, Werewolf, Stalker. Let me see if I could find the Stalker situation over here. Stalker. See, the thing about the learning curve on these with this YouTube thing is I have about 400 different ways of classifying and labeling these things. Oh, somebody's asking for my email. My email is mr.xdreams54@gmail.com. Someone says, do I do any alien encounter stories? I've only gotten one of those, and let me see. That's an old one as well. I might add that one to the list. Maybe we can do a whole alien theme story time tonight. All right. I'm curious. What do you need what do you want my email for, by the way? And just so you guys know, I keep my email address and all my other contact info at the bottom of pretty much every video in the description box. All right. So let me see if I could find a good Dogman encounter, and that'll round us up to 3 stories for the night. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. All right. I think I got a couple good ones for you guys. Ray asks, have I collected stories from every country? Your family's from Mexico and you have tons of scary stories. Well, Ray Ayanami, if you've got some scary stories from Mexico, I would love to hear them because I haven't gotten very many from Mexico, particularly. How far am I along in RE2? Not that far. I got to where I had my first liquor encounter and it almost killed me. And I wasted pretty much all my ammo because I made the mistake of not listening to my co-pilot, Nix, who was here last stream. And she told me to bring my grenade launcher, and I didn't. And I ended up having to fight a liquor by shooting almost all my pistol ammo at it. And so I'm going to go back and redo that first liquor encounter. Yeah, you guys are getting really specific with some of these things. South American Bigfoot. Salvaje, Brian's World. Well, I look forward to that, my friend. El Salvaje. Sounds interesting. Yeah, I don't have any real life liquor encounters either. All right, guys. So we are going to start with the most popular of the 3. Or maybe I should end with that one. All right. I'll start with the Dogman story. Then we'll go an alien encounter. And then we'll do the military unknown cryptid situation over there. Sheila Paulette Roberts. Greetings, my friend. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Also, the Dot. Who else did I miss? The Dot. Yeah, the Dot. You slipped in there on me. I didn't notice you. All right, my friends. Let's do this. Dogman encounter. Storytime mode, activate. Just gotta pull this up real quick. And here we go. Dear Mr. X, a man I'll call Baker has been driving trucks for most of his life, transporting heavy equipment for a major company. At least 4 days a week, new shipments come into the port of New Orleans, needing to be delivered as soon as possible to various destinations, keeping him busy going back and forth on the long highway road. Late one Thursday night, a shipment came in that had to be delivered the same day. Baker said he got to the port of New Orleans at 8:30 p.m. and had to wait until midnight for the equipment to be loaded onto his truck before heading out. The route was familiar to him. He could drive it in his sleep if he wanted to. It was simple, and he'd made the trip countless times without complications or accidents. However, as he drove on into the morning, Baker saw something that would forever change him. He said he was on Highway LA. Correction, LA Highway 1. A few miles outside of Golden Meadows when he saw it. It was around 1:30 a.m. The early rays of sunrise just beginning to illuminate the shoulder of the road. A tall, dark figure with green light reflecting in its eyes standing there, seeming to stare directly at him. His first reaction was to dismiss it as his eyes playing tricks. He'd had problems with that in the past, but as he approached, he turned on his high beams, and the reality of the situation became undeniable. Near the wild overgrowth off the highway, a dog-like animal stood on its hind legs. The creature stood erect, focusing not on the truck, but Baker himself as he approached at high speed. As he got close, Baker could see another monstrous dog-like creature emerging from the bush, also pausing to notice him. In the midst of the unbelievable situation, Baker was shaken even more when one of the dogmen raised its arm to shield its face when his high beams shined into its eyes. Nearly in a panic, Baker slammed his foot on the gas pedal and sped past the two bizarre creatures. He saw their dark silhouettes crossing the road cautiously as they shrunk steadily in his side view mirror. He mentioned that he always thought of himself as open-minded when it came to the paranormal, but after being confronted with such a chilling encounter, even driving 80 miles per hour, he's already been just about as close as he'd ever want to get. While going over the interview from Mr. Baker, my memory was jarred, and I recalled that I, myself, have a Dogman story of my own to share with you. It was during one of my last rotations in Afghanistan, a miserably bitter cold winter. I was with a team doing some reconnaissance out in no man's land when a figure caught my eye, contrasting against the pure white landscape of the snow-laden desert. It was a man on a motorcycle, riding intrepidly along an icy road. I watched him from afar as he merrily made his way across the frozen land until I saw two figures approach him. The figures bounded through the deep snow off the shoulder of the road, one in front of the other, closing distance and racing towards him. Before they were able to clear the drift and get onto the road, he turned his head and spotted them. He immediately leaned on his motorcycle to speed up, but his machine could only carry him so quickly in the icy conditions. The creatures were abnormally large, far too enormous to be mistaken for even the most fearsome of local dogs. They ran on 4 legs and had gigantic heads with what appeared to be wide, floppy ears dangling from the sides. When I tried focusing in on them, I could make out coarse, brown-gray fur that seemed to cover a massively muscular body that looked more human than canine in nature. The sight was surreal to the point of confusion on my part. I started to chuckle a bit at how unbelievable the normal mission had suddenly become. They caught up with him and began charging at his bike, repeatedly slamming into it as if trying to knock him off. They took turns snapping and biting at his legs as he kicked frantically to stave them off, occasionally using his other foot to keep his bike from tipping over. The Dogmen, as I coined them, or as I called them, continued their reign of terror on the poor man for what appeared to be at least 2 miles before they trailed back off into the thick snow and came to rest near a tree line. As the first one leapt in toward the trees, it stood up and looked out at the other one. The behavior had the distinct feeling of a signal or communication of some sort, before they rejoined and disappeared into the bush. So guys, I kind of forgot that I grouped those 2 stories together, but that last one actually was one that I experienced myself. I'm the one who saw that situation going down, and to this day I talk about it all the time. It was insane. Let's see here. Before we get into that short commentary on those stories, let's see what we got here. Ray, you say that in your small Pueblo village you've had witches, dwarves, devil dog, and the actual devil. Well, shoot. Sounds like you've got some stories right up my alley. Rebecca Adams. Hello there, Rebecca. By the way, if you guys check my Twitter, Rebecca has a GoFundMe page up there. I pinned it to the top of my page. And if you do have the ability to, at least go over there and share it. If you follow me on Twitter, which I highly recommend, because I always post when I'm doing my live streams, please go check that out and retweet it, share it with your friends, Facebook or whatever. And if you can, donate, because she's going through some hard times right now, a fellow dreamer who is in need of our help. Dan and Wilder. That's not a very familiar name. Tell me, Dan and Wilder, have you been here before? That voice is so sexy with very creative spelling there. Thank you very much. I appreciate the compliment. All right, let's see what else. Rawati, greetings, my friend. Donica691, hello there. You guys came in a good time because we got 2 more stories to go at least. Abby, say what? Your dog is looking at you. He probably knows, he knows what's up. He knows that those were a couple of his homeboys out there in Afghanistan confusing the hell out of me many years ago. Regina Brown, hello there, my friend. John O'Connor, greetings and welcome. Victoria Johnson, hello. SNK, hey there, my friends, greetings. Michael Bastas, or Bastas, greetings. Transvestigations. Okay. Probably shouldn't even have read that term out loud. Sheila, my voice is amazing. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, my friend. Larry, hello there, my friend. Nick Knack, hello. Greetings and welcome. Amanda Gibson, love your voice and your stories. My favorite. Wow, that means a lot to me, Amanda. I appreciate that. All right, so with those stories, I remember that first story about the trucker. Dark Waters actually is the one that put me in contact with the individual that experienced that, and it's something that I like to think about when I read that story. Is that it's I've been in situations where I'm driving at night and I see an animal or I see something strange that it's kind of, even if you only see it for a few seconds, it can still kind of be shocking and unsettling, even if you know that this is not something that can really reach out and touch you that easily. You're driving 80 miles an hour or 75 miles an hour or whatever, and you don't necessarily have an immediate threat that you're facing. But imagine if a couple of 9-foot tall dog-like humanoid creatures and one of them goes like this to block his eyes with a human-like arm. I'm sure you probably all find it difficult to imagine being faced with that in the real world, looking directly at it. And if that's what really happened, and if he's being honest and sincere, which it seemed like he was at the time, otherwise I wouldn't have been told the story. That's got to be a very heart-pounding event. But the story I told about the Afghanistan with the guys with the young man on the motorcycle, that was a harrowing moment, and I watched it unfold with my own eyes, and it was crazy. And to this day, I've talked to other people who've been out there, and I have yet to hear anyone give me a good explanation as to what type of creatures I was looking at the time. It was totally insane. 2 gigantic, hulking beasts just tormenting this poor guy on a motorcycle. Sheila, you have beautiful eyes, Mr. X. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Has anyone ever been attacked by something and unsure what it was? Thankfully, I have not. Hey, Jessica D. Greetings, my friend. Rahul. Hello there. Let's see. Calvin. Greetings. Got a couple of comments to read here. Your stories are awesome. Loving your work. When are you going to do some more werewolf dogman encounters? You just missed one, Rahul. It's an older one though, and I've done a couple in the past few months. If you look at my later uploads, yeah, I used to have time to do sound effects and do all the pre-recorded videos and all the editing and everything, but I simply don't have the time anymore. That's why I come on and do these live readings for you guys, just so we have some time to hang out. And it's always that's the best I can do right now. There's probably going to be a few of those, richly developed and produced with sound effects and music and all that good stuff later on down the line. But right now, it's just not feasible. Rebecca, you said your grandfather had an encounter with a skinwalker. Well, if you know about that story, Rebecca, please send me an email. I'd love to hear it. Yeah, John, that's what I was thinking. It seemed I always tend to go with a more natural explanation to something, if it's whether it's bears or actual wolves or some kind of just unusual animal that I'm just not aware of. Or maybe just gigantic dogs that are 5 times bigger than any dog I've ever seen. But hey, who am I to say whether it's a actual cryptozoological situation that we're dealing with here? The dot says, once I was driving home at night and this shadow thing was running in the bushes alongside my car, chasing it until I reached the city. Michael saying you had sleep paralysis a few times, so you seek the truth. Wasn't surprised you've been lied to all your life. What were you lied to about, Michael? Well, what was the lie that you're speaking of in that situation? Let's see. A friend of yours swears he saw a skinwalker on the side of the highway in the process of changing into something like a dog. That sounds like a horrendous, terrifying sight. Yeah, and Rebecca, I'm looking forward to getting that story. All right, so let me see what this alien encounters situation is all about. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, this is pretty short. So what I'm going to do is I'll tell this short story and then I'll tell you my alien encounter, I think, that I had when I was a kid. And a lot of you probably have heard it before, but maybe not. We'll see. Amy Jenkins, new to the channel. Greetings, my friend. I'm glad you're here. And welcome to the Dreamers. Let me turn the brightness down on this monitor. It's pretty, it's getting a little intense. Werewolves are my favorite story, says Victoria. Running into one would not be something you feel would be in your best interest? Certainly not. I'd be willing to bet that. Nick Knack says, do you research the stories people send you to see what possibly could have happened to them? You have a weird story you'd like to send? Research it, cannot find anything. Nick Knack, please do send me that story. Because, honestly, another one of the reasons why I haven't been uploading as much is because I just don't get that many good stories anymore. And anytime, and that's another good thing about these live streams is that I get to reach people that have stories that are willing to send them to me pretty much right away. Usually within a couple days, I'll get a couple of good stories out of the deal. Almost every live stream that happens. So yes, Nick Knack, please do send me a story if you've got one, if it's an interesting one. Lee Underhill, greetings, my friend. Glad you made it. Got 2 more stories at least. Yes, Amy Jenkins, and who else? There was someone else that said that this was their first time or just found my channel. Anyways, I would like to extend a close, personal, warm welcome on the behalf of myself and all the other dreamers to everyone else. Anyone who's joining us for the first time tonight, you're much appreciated, and I hope you enjoy yourselves here on my channel going forward, my friends. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, don't forget to hit the like button. I'll remind you guys every so often. Amy Jenkins says, you've dealt with demons and never asked for a spirit guide. Probably a good plan. Getting involved with things that you don't really understand, always better to avoid that. John O'Connor asks, Mr. X, do you believe that religious buildings can be haunted? I have some theories about what we call hauntings, and I think it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters what the location is. It's more what happened and why there might be some residual energy from a human life there. But I'm really not sure. I'm really not sure what to think about things like that. I just don't think there's any significance to the religiosity of a specific building or place. in most cases. James Fritz, hello there, my friend. Maharet Madsen, really did love your channel. Already did love your channel. Okay, got you. Well, I appreciate that. All right, so I'm going to go through this alien story. GTO, hello there, my friend. Greetings. I'm going to go through this other story. I haven't read this one in quite a while, so I'm not sure exactly what the situation was with it, but I do know what the situation was with my story. I've told it probably 5 times on this channel, but I never get tired of telling it, so hopefully you guys don't get tired of hearing it by now. And I know there's a couple of you that haven't heard of it. Maharat Madsen. Did I say it right? That's good to know. Love you too. All right. Story mode. Activate. Dear Mr. X, this isn't a very long encounter, but I promise you that it absolutely terrified me. It happened a little over 16 years ago. Here's the story. I wake up in my bed. It's close to dawn, I think. I have no idea what time it actually is. When I open my eyes, my mind immediately whispers to me with a slight feeling of dread. I look around my room with blurred vision, sensing that something is definitely wrong. My eyes catch on to 3 tall, hunched-over figures, which stand out in the dark. Instantly amplifying the small inkling of fear in my head into a gripping, paralyzing panic. The 3 beings move toward my room with a haunting, fluid motion. They sort of creep in, with their forms appearing twisted and awkward. It's so unnatural and disturbing to witness. The creatures make their way to my daughter's crib. My eyes seem to bulge from my head as I desperately struggle to move, but my muscles ignore my pleas. All I can do is watch while these things close in on my baby. I try yelling at them to stay away from her, fighting with all my might to reach out and protect her, but nothing comes out. At the same time, I feel as if I'm being smothered. My breathing becomes extremely difficult. The odd thing is, I feel my thoughts flow out from my mind in a way I cannot explain. Like the message I wanted to say is somehow pouring forth from my mind. A 4th, significantly smaller figure appears in my doorway, just standing there. As the thoughts leave my head, I feel a response from the smaller creature. Even in my mind, there are no words exchanged, just the feeling transmitted to me that all will be well, and that I shouldn't worry. And with that, my vision becomes blurry again and I succumb to unconsciousness. When morning comes, I shoot up out of my bed and immediately run to my daughter to make sure she's okay. I look over, thoroughly, her entire body, and find blue, ink-like markings on her hands and feet. Everyone I try to explain this to seems to write me off as a joke, but I'm telling you, I was not on any kind of medication, nor was I drinking, or any other substance. Because I was breastfeeding at the time, Ever since then, I've been keeping a close eye on my daughter and husband to make sure nothing odd happens with them. Luckily, that was both my first and last encounter with these creatures, as far as I know. See, this one kind of hits close to home. Catch up with the chat real quick before I get into my commentary. Nick Knack says, "Ugh, I need to buy your shirt." Feel free if you like the shirt designs. I got a bunch of them on my website, well, on the Teespring store. And if you guys notice down here on the bottom of the screen, there's all the links to my PayPal, my email, my Twitter, Instagram, and the Teespring store. So whenever you guys, if you need any information, it's pretty much constantly scrolling across the bottom of the screen. I think you can see that. So, yeah. This is my original OG mr.xdreams logo, and as you guys probably saw during the little ad break there, I got a few other ones, including these mugs and this design. This is one of my favorites. This design, Wolf Watcher, it's called. Goes really good on a shirt. Rawati, when Mr. X says I love you too, I believe it. That is a good call because it's true. I love all you guys. You mean very much to me, and I'm always happy to see you out here hanging out, live streams. It's a lot of fun. I like it. Yeah, okay. Gloria, sorry I'm late. Hi, Mr. X. Hello there, Gloria. No worries. We got one more, well, kind of technically two more stories because I'm going to retell my personal alien experience in just a minute here. Victoria says, my mom, brother, and I saw a UFO on my 10th birthday many years ago. I'm hoping I wasn't abducted and probed. That would suck. I'm sure it would. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty creepy. Sheila says, I could listen to Mr. X's smooth voice all the time. And I hope you do. There's plenty of it out there on my channel. I got tons of videos, probably about 140 right now, I think. Jessica, do you have the Wolf Watcher shirt? If you do, I don't think I've gotten a picture from you. Whenever you guys get something from my website, from my Teespring store, make sure you send me a picture of you using it or wearing it. And it'll go into my slideshow here. I got to make a new one because I've gotten a whole bunch of new pictures in. And yeah, Famine 52, you do have your old OG shirt and mug, and it shows up in this picture. You'll see it in just a second, if you haven't already, actually. Let's see here. Also, guys, make sure you hit the like button. That helps me out a little bit, and I certainly appreciate it. Yep, there you go. Just missed you, Famine 52. Yeah, and this is pretty old, a pretty old slideshow. I got a whole bunch more now. All right, so guys, about this story. If you put yourself, I always like to put myself in the hello there, Marco. Glad you made it. And if there's anybody else who's here that I didn't see, that I haven't greeted, please let me know, and I will greet you by name because that's what I do. Zucker, hello there. I always like to put myself in the position of the the person going through the events described in the story. I just imagine, if you will, close your eyes and think about the idea of laying in a bed. You have your infant daughter or son in the crib near your bed. And not only, it's bad enough if someone breaks into your house and it's a human being, but imagine somebody coming in and it's not human. A creature with intellect and intent and who's humanoid but not human, and coming in, hovering around your child's crib, you being unable to do anything about it, fighting and struggling with all the parental rage in your bones, and still nothing that can be done. And I don't know if it's something that would bring me comfort, but for another small, bizarre creature to come in and say telepathically, hey, don't worry about it, everything's going to be fine. That's got to be a really strange feeling. I mean, what do you do? What do you do in that situation? How do you live with that? Because regardless of what you say, I mean, worst case scenario, I'm thinking in the most fantastic world out there, who knows what, if there were extraterrestrials visiting this young woman's home, invading her home, what could they have done to her child? Implanting something, or taking making a duplicate of her child and planting it there. If you've seen the new Captain Marvel movie, where they have Skrulls, an humanoid alien race that is meant to infiltrate and take over the role of a human being in their life. I mean, they can duplicate someone at will. Imagine that being a real thing, where for some strategic reason the aliens come into someone's house and say, hey, take this baby, this human baby, remove them and put the duplicate in. So now you're raising a baby that is a duplicate of your own, but is not your actual child. Who knows what's happening to your child? That's a scary thought. I don't know if you guys can tell anything about me based on my thoughts on that and how dark I think about it. But yeah. I'm glad you guys like the pics. I really do. Hopefully by the next time I stream, I'll have an updated version of that slideshow, because I think I've gotten about 5 or 6 more pictures. But if you have some of the Mr. X Dreamer gear and you haven't sent me a picture, now's the time. You gotta get that in so that I can work it into the next slideshow. Because I love having you guys. I want that slideshow to be 5 minutes long, and I'll just have to randomize it or something, or maybe I'll just change the way I do it so that I can shuffle through random images. Because eventually, it's not going to be. I'm not going to be able to do it the same way as I had it before. Let's see. A couple of people came in. Merritt A. Hello there, my friend. Welcome. Who else do we have? I said hi to Marco. Saya Fee. Hello there, my friend. All right. Wait a minute. Maharet. Is Garrus a Mass Effect reference? What do you mean? Is that Garrus's last name or something from Mass Effect? Mass Effect 1 and 2, and maybe half of 3 is top-notch gaming, storytelling, world building. It's awesome. Brian's World, you gotta go. Hey, make sure you come back and listen to the military story later. Glad you were here. Un abrazo, hermano. Yep, hit that thumbs up button before you get out of here, before you leave. Knick-knack, my name is Nikki. That's a pretty clever. Knick-knack Nikki. It's kind of a tongue twister there. So, I'm going to tell you guys I'm going to tell you guys the Reader's Digest version of my alien encounter story that I experienced many years ago. I was about 9 years old. So what happened was I was playing with my cousins, my younger brother, and we were all at my grandmother's house one day, which happened often. It was in South Florida. We all kind of lived in the same city, and we would just all meet up. There was about 5 of us, I think. 2, 3, 4, 6 of us. So one day we're out in the front of my grandmother's house in the driveway playing. It's midday, maybe 3 p.m. At some point, I just noticed something large in my peripheral vision. I look up right above this palm tree that's in the middle of my grandmother's driveway. Is this huge football-shaped, maybe 20 feet across, dark in color, maybe dark blue or black, and it's ringed with these red, green, and blue lights that flicker across in a kind of a pattern, like a Christmas light pattern almost. And it was just there, football-shaped object, just there, floating in midair. And I remember thinking, okay, how is this possible? I was pretty smart for a 9-year-old, if you can imagine. I was thinking, this thing is not making any noise. It's right above a tree, and the tree's not moving. Hence, there's no air being pushed out of it or fire or any kind of propulsion that I would understand or was aware of. And yet this thing is just floating in midair. Thought it was bizarre. So I get the attention of my brother and my cousins, and I say, hey, you guys see this? We all are turning around looking at that object in the sky. And all of a sudden, and also, by the way, I notice when I'm looking at this object, the sky no longer looks like a bright blue sky. The sky looks like a night sky. It's totally dark. I don't know why. That's one of the least explainable parts of this weird story. So all of a sudden, we're all standing there, and then all of a sudden, in the snap of a finger, we're all facing the opposite direction and watching something else happening. It's like a total different situation going on, and we all went from staring at that thing to just flipped around the other way, and we're talking to my uncle, and this other stuff is happening. Things that I remember, but I don't remember seeing them. I just know what was happening. So it's almost like we lost an unknown amount of time in that instant. So after that, naturally, we got together and we started talking about it. And we all saw it. We all discussed it. And every time we saw each other after that, we would also discuss that situation. And after a while, maybe about a year later, the youngest one of us, my cousin, he was like, what are you guys talking about? He totally had no idea what we were talking about when we were discussing the fact that we all saw this weird spaceship looking thing. And then a while later, maybe another 6 months or 9 months, my younger brother, who was the second youngest person that was there, forgot what we were talking about and was perplexed at what the story that we were telling. And then a couple months later, my other cousin, who was the third youngest one. So as you can see, starting from the youngest person on up, sequentially, we were forgetting what had happened. And then one night, I was going through sleep paralysis. I had a nightmare. I forced myself out of the nightmare because it was so terrifying. And then I woke up to a small creature sitting on my chest and sticking something metal in my mouth. I can taste this metallic flavor. And I was paralyzed. All I could do was move my eyes. I looked at my clock. It was 2:46 in the morning, or 2:37. It was near 3 o'clock a.m. And as soon as this thing realized that I was awake, it startled, it jumped, and then it vanished. And then as I was looking at the clock, it went from 2:36 or 2:30, whatever it was, straight to 6 o'clock. So it jumped ahead 3.5 hours. And then I was no effect whatsoever of paralysis. I could just completely move, and it was 6 a.m. And I remember that could be sleep paralysis or what have you, but I straight up went from 2:36 in the morning to 6 a.m. before my eyes, staring. I was awake, lucid, staring directly at the clock, and I saw it switch like that. And I went from being completely paralyzed to I can move just fine, totally fine. I wasn't sluggish. I didn't fight my way out of the paralysis like I have in the past. And believe me, I am familiar with sleep paralysis, and that was something. It was not the standard experience. So yes, who knows what happened to us in that time that we missed? Who knows what would have happened to me if I didn't wake up in that moment? And I acknowledge to this day it could have been sleep paralysis. It could have been just a dream within a dream that I had with the thing sitting on my chest, because that's a pretty common thing to happen. But there's so much to that story that it's just hard to discount. I just want to share that with you guys since we're on the topic of aliens. So, the last story we have is a military base cryptid encounter. Yeah, knick-knack. My theory is that whatever that thing was doing to me with the metallic device is what happened to the younger people in the group that forgot. Yeah, just weird. If I met a friendly alien, that would be awesome. If they're actually friendly, sure. But I like to always kind of go back to the old the idea that what historically, when some group of human beings comes across another group of human beings that doesn't look like them, they tend to see that group as lesser or less valuable or less intelligent, less developed, what have you. And it usually ends up in war. It usually ends up in someone being killed or enslaved or exterminated. And I would have to hope that an interplanetary encounter with another species of intelligent life, hopefully they'd be a little bit more evolved than we are morally, and able to treat us with dignity and respect, even if they're more advanced than we are, because we sure as hell have a lot of trouble doing that as a species. Yeah, I would never punch an alien under any circumstances because that could be the one that could be their whole culture is that everything's cool unless you touch us or attack us. And one person punching an alien in the face could lead to an alien nuclear holocaust on Earth just because of one person. And that's not going to be me. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Ellie Mae, good morning, my friend. Glad to see you here. Yeah, Alex, I'm surprised you haven't heard that story. Happy belated Valentine's Day. And oh, yeah, I hope you guys all had a good Valentine's Day. What was it, yesterday? Whatever day it was. Maharat Madsen, you have a black belt. What do you have a black belt in, Madsen? Zen 2011, I love you, Mr. X. Well, I love you as well, my friend. Oh, Merit A, that's a good question. You said how many of us remember? Honestly, I think I'm the only person who still remembers. I've spoken to I've spoken to my other two cousins who did at one point were the last ones who were able to discuss it with me and everything. But I don't think that they still remember. Maybe it's because they were a little bit older than I was. And I don't know if it means anything that they're both female. Maybe there's some kind of reasoning behind that, some kind of that plays a factor. I don't know. But they don't seem to remember anymore. I'm the only person who actually remembers, unfortunately. And that's another reason why I doubt myself sometimes, but I'm telling you the truth when I say that those memories are carved into my mind explicitly. Savate. Savate, martial art. I'm not familiar with that. It sounds pretty cool though. I'm gonna have to look it up. Okay. Or Savat. Okay, yeah, I have heard about that. French martial arts, foot fighting. Got it. I had to pull that up on another screen. Yeah, I hope it's not like Mars Attacks, Obsidian Flame. I do remember that. That movie creeps me out. Just looking at the monsters, the aliens in that movie, for some reason, it's unusually creepy to me. All right. Yeah, well, see, the good thing about having a YouTube channel is that I can always go back and look at my videos to remind myself of that memory in explicit detail. Let's see, Ellie, love you too, my friend. French and only 5 foot, live with your 2 babies, Jill Valentine, and no way you have a baby named Jill Valentine, Madsen. I'm gonna call you on that one. But I mean, if you do, that's awesome. Phantom Knight 24, my old friend, greetings. Saya Fee, very super impressed you can remember something from 8 years old. Can't remember 8 minutes ago. I remember things from way before 8 years old. A couple of things. I don't know why or what the rationale is behind it. My Reed Hesketh. Hope all is well. Greetings, my friend. Welcome to the stream. I've got one more story for you guys before I get out of here, because I promised at least 3. This is running a little bit long, but you're all here and we're all talking. So you really did name a baby Jill Valentine? That's dope. I like that. And you're exactly the type of person that I want to have watching my videos. Maharat Madsen. All right, let's see here. Yeah, this is a good length. All right. We're going to get into this military monster story. Wrong cup. All right. I'm going to need a refill on water pretty soon. All right. Story mode. Greetings, friends. A year ago, I met a very interesting man who eventually became a good friend to me. I'll call him Chris to protect his identity. We both have a military background, so naturally we spoke about some of our exploits in those past lives. He had an unexpectedly haunting story to tell, and when I later got this channel up and running, I asked if I could share it with you, and he agreed. So here we go. This took place on an undisclosed military base located in the damp jungles of a remote island. Chris says he remembers the wilderness being unnervingly quiet for at least a week leading up to the incident. The personnel stationed there chalked the silence up to a change in seasons or something. There had been reports of bizarre sightings, fast-moving animals no one could explain. Anyone who mentioned them was typically shut down with ridicule from fellow soldiers. The sightings were notably inconsistent with one another. Some saw large eyes, others saw small ones. Some heard a big thing trudging boisterously through the woods. Others heard the sounds of something sneaking around in the brush. No one had seen anything worth defending in an inevitable argument, let alone losing their reputation over. Chris heard every report due to the fact that he was the desk sergeant at the time. Anyone who saw or heard something off that could potentially impact the security of the base would typically come to him and have it notated in the log. He never took the more fantastical reports seriously enough to actually write them down, unbeknownst to the concerned soldiers who came to him. Some of them came just to talk about what happened, off the record, anyway, which would typically end up with them just trading ghost stories. On the night in question, Chris and his team were on the far side of the island, an area which was completely uninhabited, where no human presence could be found for hundreds of miles in every direction. For that reason, the military chose that location for storing their weapons and explosives. Chris and a partner, who I'll call Barry, were conducting the nightly checks on the magazine storage areas, which lay several miles deep into the uninhabited zone. The jungle was still weirdly quiet, but it was good for them, being that their mission was to detect foreign intelligence or operatives tampering with U.S. equipment, or the occasional refugee group that washed ashore. They were on a road that rested in the valley between two mountains, bordered by gigantic hills, thick and rocky with tall grass. As they drove along slowly with their Humvee windows down, they heard a heavy thud coming from the woods. A totally unexpected, unnatural sound emanated clearly from the tangled growth. The first thud drew their attention, but was quickly followed by other noises. Barry shut off the headlights and shut off the engine so they could sneak up on whoever was out there. They knew anyone attempting to navigate the dense vegetation would have to do so carefully, taking time to avoid injury. But surprisingly, they could hear fast-paced walking, rustling through the tall grass. After a few moments, the sound began to move parallel to the road. They restarted the vehicle and pursued the noise. The walking continued for a while as they followed it with only their running lights on, before suddenly stopping. They at first thought they'd lost track of whatever it was, so they turned the headlights back on, assuming it was a deer or something, and continued a ways down the road. As Barry proceeded to turn the high beams on, both men noticed something in the distance, approximately 30 yards ahead. A humanoid creature jumping into the road, and then into the brush on the other side. It was gray, over 2 meters tall with a small oval head. Its movements were too swift for its size. The best way he could describe its leaping motion was like that of an impossibly nimble frog. Seeing the creature instantly gave Chris the feeling of being punched in the stomach. His heart sank so rapidly that his adrenaline kicked in, and he began to feel nauseous, on the verge of vomiting. He laments the fact that neither of them had the will to chase after the creature, but that the feeling of being at such a disadvantage was absolutely petrifying. The idea that they were stalking it raised the question: were they hunting or being hunted themselves? Whatever it was, the monster definitely had the tactical advantages of position and mobility. Chris and Barry turned their truck around and sped off into the night. The woods remained silent for at least another week, returning to the normal droning sounds of the local wildlife. So, it's funny, you guys mentioned, Maharet mentioned a baby named Jill Valentine, and as a true Resident Evil fan would know, I kind of named the two protagonists of this story after two major characters in the Resident Evil franchise, Chris and Barry. That story, there was supposed to be a follow-up to it, but I've kind of lost touch with Chris, my friend that told me the story initially, and he also seems to have lost touch with Barry. So the odds of us getting our hands on that information is probably pretty slim by now. Swamp Dweller, hello there, my friend. Glad to see you here. Unfortunately, you missed most of the stories. I got 4 stories in tonight. I think that's a record for me. I usually tell one story and then I just hang out and chat for like another hour after that, but I wanted to give you guys a little bit more to chew on today. Let's see here. All right. So, once again, to everybody who's here right now, if you guys do me a favor, hit the like button. And while I'm telling you, while I'm giving my outro, let's see if we could figure out a code word for tonight's stream. For those of you who are new, code word is something that only people who watch all the way to the end of the video would actually know. So, let's see. We haven't had any particularly breakout comedic moments that I can think of right now. But we need a word so that you guys who have been here the whole time, liquor. Yep, there we go. I like it, Logan. I think you're you should be the president of code words from now on, Logan, because I think you've come up with like 2 or 3 really good ones. Let's see here. Yeah, so I don't remember what the last code was, but Legendary Lurch Logan is the president, secretary, vice president of code words for mr.xdreams channel. We will defer to Logan for any future what is it? Zucker, you threw me off with a donation. Thank you very much for your donation, Zucker. $5. I'm much appreciated, my friend. Let's see. Valentine knickknack. That's a little too generic. I like something that is more specific to something that was mentioned during the stream. The Storinator, says Larry. I'm the Storinator. That's a pretty good name. I dig that. The password is password. Swamp Dweller. That's very creative. I expected more of you, my friend. Yeah, we had Diamond Nipples a couple streams ago. Today's password will be liquor. So, not in the chat, but in the stream, in the comments down below of the video, whoever sees that, once that comes up, type in the word liquor, work that into your comment somewhere down below. And that'll let me know who's here at the end of the stream. And that goes for not only the people that are watching right now, but the people that come by later and check the stream out. If you make it all the way to the end, if you're listening right now, type the word liquor into the comment section. Try to be clever. Don't just say liquor. No, it's not lick her, but liquor, as in the terrifying creature that I'm about to go fight in a few minutes when I go and play Resident Evil 2 Remake over on my Twitch channel, which I'm sure is going to be a blast because it's a nerve-wracking and a scary game. But yeah. So, my friends, thank you guys so much for coming by, hanging out with me tonight. Thank you again, Zucker, for the $5 donation. Much appreciated. Let's see. Just got a Christian Burrows. Hello there. We're about to finish up over here in a second, but let me see. Yeah, I remember the types of comments that you do. I hope you guys all have a good weekend. Thanks again for hanging out. Love you all. You guys know that. And remember to treat each other with kindness every day. That should be a goal, a major goal for all of you. Whenever you're out and about, let people know that's what dreamers do. That's how we treat people, and that's what we do. And if you're wearing a mr.xdreams shirt from teespring.com, you better be treating people with kindness and representing the dreamers in that way. Otherwise, you can take my shirt off. In the privacy of your own home, of course. Phantom Knight 24, $5 donations. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate it. I missed most of the stream, but I'll always stay to the end. OG, Ride or Die Dreamer, much love, X. That is absolutely what you are, my friend. Much appreciated with that donation. Amanda Gibson, were you here earlier? Oh, greetings if you weren't. Good night, all of you. Very much. Okay, Aaron England. Yeah, it's over. We're wrapping up, but you can check this out a little bit later. It'll be coming back up online. So thanks again for you guys showing up and hanging out for a while. Appreciate you. And have a good weekend. Treat each other with kindness. And I'm out. I'm Mr. X, my friends. And may your nights be full of dreams. Love you guys. Later. Oh, and by the way, if you guys go over on to mr.xdreams on Twitch, I'll be playing Resident Evil 2 for a little bit over there, maybe about an hour. So you guys can check me out over there if you haven't. If you don't follow me over there already, just type in Mr. X Dreams and you'll find me over there. I'll be playing some Resident Evil 2 remake. All right, for real this time. Good night.